Welcome everybody to the Watchlist. Happy Super Bowl Sunday to everybody out there. Of course, the Watchlist here in the Latin Nerds Network, where we review all the shows that get released across all the platforms of streaming. And as always, we set you up for what to watch, what's coming out anyway in the next following week, so you can create your very own watch list. We'll do something a little bit different today, but before we get into any of all that, introducing, of course, co-host, we got live from Houston. Big bro himself, Senor Jaime, of course, aka Chewy. How you doing?
What's up, brother? What's going on, man?
Ready to do this? Got a little Super Bowl barbecue going on later? No? Yay? Nay?
Not really.
Not ready?
Just watching some gold medal performances. That's all.
Well, there you go. The halftime show, there are cool
Yeah,
commercials, a bunch of trailers, of course. One already dropped this
it's all
morning.
about Dre.
All that good shit that's coming out of Super Bowl. If you watch it, have a good time. If you don't, you're watching some other shows. Whatever floats your boat at the end of the day. Rams by double digits. Just take that and run with it for whatever that's worth. Anybody out there? All that being said, so Chewy, listen, we're not gonna. I'm
Take
not.
the
Well,
dog.
yeah, it's not gonna
Take the
be.
dog.
They did that. Rams,
And the
Rams
points.
all the way. That's one good commercial. I don't even care. Doritos, Bud Light, they use the stars and this week anyway. Um, we
Trailers.
do get a little Snoop Dogg, so I can live with that. Even if he's 80 years old, it's all good. That being said, I love me some Snoop Dogg. That being said, we're gonna do something a little bit different because I'll be traveling next weekend, so we're not having a show next week. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set you up for the following 2 weeks. It's actually next week's actually a pretty big week. I think it's like eight shows that come out, documentaries, movies. Following week, not as much, but that being said, it will give me time since I got a couple long flights to see a bunch of stuff anyway, so I'll still be, for the most part, caught up. And we'll probably break down the best, maybe even the extreme shows, the good stuff and the really bad stuff. We'll probably talk about that in a couple weeks, so we're not going to get to go over everything as it is. But that being said, Chewy, so we'll do something a little bit different. We're going to start with what's coming out next week. And then at the end of the show, we'll talk about the shows coming out in the following week after that. And
Okay.
in between, we'll talk about the shows that, of course, that got released and all that. So before we get started, guys, don't forget if you're one of those people, those friends that say, hey, what's coming out this week? I don't know what to watch, nothing to watch, nonsense. Recommend the show, subscribe, like, etc. We appreciate that. That being said, should we start with next week, man? It's a big week. It's a very big week besides the Super Bowl. It starts tonight, actually. Not that anybody's be watching this show unless you're not a football fan. And that is Bel Air on Peacock coming out today. Of
Peacock.
course, the reimagining, reboot, or whatever of. I love the original, Prince Picture of Bel Air with, of course, the Will Smith back in the day, '90s. Still holds up. Every so often I pop in episode in there. I did get to see that reunion special on HBO. I thought that was pretty cool. But this is a little more serious take on it, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah. It's
material.
not. I don't know if it's half hour or not, but it's definitely not a comedy.
Yeah, it's not a
It's not from
comedy.
the
Yeah, it
trailers.
just, I don't think we're gonna see Jazzy Jeff being thrown out of the house, anything like that. Um, Whatever. But I'm curious. Let's see what this means. Will Smith produced it for whatever that's worth. On the 17th is my birthday, and we got a little gift because I'm a sucker for good martial arts stuff, and we got a movie coming on that's Fistful of Vengeance. I guess it's
A
a sequel
sequel
to
movie
to
to the Wu, not the Wu
Wu
Assassins. No,
Assassins.
was it?
Yeah,
Yes, it was
yeah,
Wu
the Wu
Assassins. I
Assassins, a show on
apologize.
Netflix a
Yes.
couple years back. Not a great show, but it was
Mhm.
entertaining. It's, again, good martial arts.
Mhm.
I forgot his name, Aiko Uwai, if I'm saying that right, stars in it, who's really, really good from the Raid series. Looking forward to it. And the trailer looked cool. If you're into that martial arts stuff, this looks interesting. So I'm definitely be catching that on the plane. We got a documentary. I haven't done documentaries in a while, too. We got a couple of them coming out. The first one is
Mhm.
on the 18th. A lot of it, this is all coming out. This is pretty much on the 18th, except for Bel Air. But we got Downfall, the case against Boeing. It's a
Mhm.
documentary film on Netflix on the 18th. I guess it's going over, I guess, the disasters back in what, 2019, 2020. I don't know. A couple of planes crashed on Boeing. There's a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah,
it was a number of years ago with the rollout of that new carbon fiber Dreamliner or whatever it was, and obviously the issues that it had with some of the avionics and causing the two crashes, very similar fashion, right?
right.
So obviously it hasn't caused the fall of Boeing. It's still around, but I'm just curious to see what's its take on this particular
Right, yeah,
movie.
I guess it goes into what occurred and what happened, all that stuff like that. So that sounds interesting. We got another movie too. We'll definitely not be watching. I will, and that's a remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was also on the 18th. I don't expect much on that. I say
How many more?
right now. This may be one of the
This is a
extremes on the bad
remake
side.
on the remake on the
So,
remake. How many remakes have we had of this, dude? I mean, come on,
if first you don't succeed, right?
seriously.
Try and try again. I listen. This is what I expect to talk about in a couple weeks,
This
but
one's
for,
turned
for the
out to
wrong
be,
reasons.
this just number these one, two, three, just like Jason, dude. I mean, come on, dude.
I get it, but I'm gonna watch it, and it's gonna be really, really bad, and I'm gonna go on the show saying how bad it is. So if I don't talk about it, it's because it was just okay, which that's not exactly a good thing either. That being said, also on the 18th, Apple Plus throwing his hat in the ring, documentary Lincoln's Dilemma. Of course, a four-part series narrated by Jeffrey
Yes.
Wright, whose voice is
Mhm.
up there with Morgan Freeman's. We see him in the
What if?
in Batman. Yeah, What If as well. Yeah, so that's coming out. It's a
What
documentary.
if
Yeah,
Lincoln was a superhero? Just kidding.
no, that would be fucking cool. Well, there is Lincoln Vampire Hunter. For whatever that's worth. It was a bad movie. Very bad movie.
I'm mildly entertaining. I know it's entertaining, dude. Come on,
Just,
it had the Falcon, dude. Come on, actually, the new Captain America.
it was so bad. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. This is a more a nuanced take as far as situation behind Lincoln, the freeing of the slaves. It looks very interesting. We got one here on Netflix again. On this, it's like 10 of these shows on the 18th, for Christ's sake. It's a busy weekend. One that I know I won't be watching. I know you won't be watching, but I'm sure there's fans out there. If you were not aware, season 2 of Space Force is coming out. Of course, Steve Carell. And that's on the 18th on Netflix.
I'm out.
I'm not even, yeah, that show will not be talked about here. I
I
guarantee you
am
that.
out.
I was not a fan of the first one. It was one of the biggest disappointments of that year. It was Steve Carell. So much talent in the show. It was just not funny. It's not
It's
good.
criminal.
But listen, a lot of people may like it. Fair enough. There's a chance to catch the second season, so good for you guys. On the 18th as well, again, it's repeat that record on Amazon Prime. That's the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, show that we're a big fan of. Season 4.
That is the big show for this week.
Yeah, is that the finale? Season 4? Is that the
No.
Okay.
This is season four. They haven't announced anything finale or otherwise.
Okay.
I don't think it is.
So it's not. They haven't
Well,
announced
now,
the finale. Then it's not the finale. They would have said
what
final
is
season.
interesting is Amazon finally decided to make this a weekly drop.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
they changed this. There might be 2 or 3 this week, but
Oh, right, like the
it's gone to a
intro
weekly
pre-show.
format.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
good for them. A wise decision on there. And this is a great show, a great comedy. This one, there's 4 seasons in, but I highly recommend it. The third season was okay, solid. The first 2 are great, but I'm hoping things pick back up. Funny show. It's such a good
Dude,
show. Yeah, it's
dude, tits up.
yeah, tits up, man. Yes, and Tony Shalhoub is he's genius in this show. He's so good. The last one is on Apple Plus. Is Severance. This is I think directed by Ben Stiller, which could be a good or bad thing. But this one's interesting. I saw a trailer. I guess it's volunteers who from this office job, workplace, whatever. They get volunteered for some kind of study or whatever experiment where basically they can have their memory separated, right? Their personal life and their work life. So when they're at work, they have no memory at all of their personal life, and when they leave work, they have no work of their work life. Sounds interesting, but there's something more behind it. Oh, it is. Of course, it isn't that simple, but it's an interesting premise. John Turturro, who's always good. Christopher Walken, come on, bro. He's in it. It's probably gonna be a little bait and switch. I got a feeling he's gonna be for like 5 minutes, but I'll take 5 minutes of Christopher Walken any day of the week. So you know what I'm saying.
I think 5 minutes is all you can handle, dude. Let's be honest.
Fair enough. So give me a quick
A
scene
little
with
bit
him.
of cowbell,
Little,
a little
true.
watch up his ass.
That's all you need.
Vietnam, and then you're golden. You're good. That's
All
all
you
you
need.
need.
They can bait and switches with that, and I'd be totally okay. But that being said, it looks interesting. Looks like interesting watch show. Apple Plus usually drops 2 or 3 episodes, and it's weekly after. So I got a feeling that's one we'll probably be talking about in a couple weeks too. I think we'll see. So yeah, so it's like I said, eight releases. That's a lot. That's as big as a week as we've seen in a while. Despite the fact that Space Force is there, whatever. But that being said, we'll talk about in 2 weeks what's coming out in a couple weeks at the end of the show. But Chewy, let's get started here. Not a whole lot this week. We got a couple movies. I do want to mention because we talked about a show called Chloe that was being released on BBC, which is going to come out on Amazon Prime. Apparently, it's going to be released on Amazon Prime at a later date. Apparently, so didn't get released on Amazon Prime like as I believed it was. At least not on that day, and that wasn't a
At
second
least
show.
as advertised with everything I saw. Now,
Agreed.
granted, Amazon Prime didn't put out a trailer or anything, so it looked kind of
To
weird.
be fair, yes, you're right. You're right.
But everything on BBC saying it was going to be coming out on BBC One and their streamer
Right.
in the UK, and then obviously on Amazon Prime here. I think we all assumed that okay, it's going to be simultaneous release. Not so much.
Yeah, not so much, but whatever. Whatever. It's gonna come out at some point.
We'll catch it.
We'll
We'll catch
catch
it
it.
whenever
We'll
it
talk
comes
about
out,
it there.
and
Yeah,
at
but
that
just
point,
that
yeah.
was our mistake. But again, we were not misled, but I guess misinformed. It is what it is. But we got a couple of movies that came out this week, Chewy. Two of which I'm sure you haven't seen. So I'm gonna talk about it real quick. I won't spend too much time on this one.
You're probably correct.
I'm not no. The first one is The Privilege. This one popped up like on a Tuesday or something. I'm like, cool. Tuesday, not much. Watch Little Pam and Tommy. He's like, what's after? Put The Privilege on. It's a movie on Netflix, which we all know the ratio of 30, 60, 10, 10 great or good, 60 whatever, mediocre, okay, and then 30% just hard garbage. This one lies in the 30% hard garbage pile. Yeah, this one here is like it's supposed to be like a horror film. It's believe German. It's just like shows like Dark with which we loved, obviously a German show, Netflix. So they're some good stuff. There's another show that came out. I forgot what it was. I think it was the internet. One about the internet. Chewy, remind me, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, with the Google Earth one.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. So, but that not being standing. So yeah, so I checked this out. I guess it's about this kid who, when he was young, his sister died, and they believed they saw, a ghost or something, whatever the case is. And another kid, he's older and he's, kind of traumatized by the whole event. And he realizes that, yeah, what he saw when he was a kid is actually real. And there's this kind of cult in town all involved and yada, yada, yada. There's a bunch of nonsense. I mean, it's a horror film, but there's no horror. So yeah, that doesn't work for me. Hey, if you're gonna give me horror, give me horror. It's just not scary at all. It's almost interesting, but the end is terrible. It's ridiculous. Do not watch it. It's not a good watch at all. So if you haven't seen it or you're about to watch it, buyer beware on that. The second one I saw, Chewy, this was on HBO Max. I didn't know this was coming out at all, and that is Kimi. Directed by Steven
Mm,
Soderbergh, who's a good director, and I think he did it digitally with
mhm.
like an iPhone. His prior movie was the same way, so whatever. It's a gimmick, but whatever. But he does some good films. He does some good work. We got Zoe Kravitz, of course. We're gonna see very soon in Batman. Very excited as Batgirl. I mean, I saw Catwoman. She stars in it. Chewy, did you see this or no? Okay.
No, pass.
Yeah, it's an hour and 29 minutes, and it's fine. It's passable, to be honest with you. It's basically Zoe Kravitz. She's a shut-in. She had some issues in the past. Now she's afraid to leave her apartment at all, and she works for this company called Kimi, which is basically like Alexa or Siri, right? And she works
Siri.
just like technician where she there's errors. She gets submitted these errors from customers, whatever. When Kimi doesn't give him the right answer, and she corrects it or whatever, right? And then one day she comes across a crime being committed over, and Kimi captures the crime in terms of just the voices anyway. So she's trying to figure out what happened, and of course there's something always behind it. So people going after her because of it, etc., etc. Not a bad film. It starts off a little bit slow. Takes place in the pandemic era, so it's pretty current in terms of wearing the mask and stuff like that. And it's interesting. It's not a bad watch. Honestly, if you guys looking for an hour and a half to kill, it's not badly made. Once it gets going, it takes about 40 minutes to kind of really get going, but when it does, it's interesting, and I enjoyed it, and it ended well. So this one I recommend slightly. Again, nothing else to watch. You're not a Super Bowl fan. You don't want to see the commercials. Your choice, your loss. Catch this one. It's not a bad film at all. So for whatever that's worth. Chewy, the shows that came out this week, we won't spend too much time on this one because it's so deep into it. It's a season 4 of Disenchantment. This is a show I think you're more a fan of than I am. I like it. I like
Probably.
it.
I like
It's
it.
good. It's like
Yeah.
it's in the vein of what Simpsons and Futurama, that kind of thing takes place medieval times and whatever. It's in
Hmm.
that vein. I mean, yeah, what I mean, I only saw a couple of them. Chewy, how many did you chance to get deep into this one?
No, I mean, only one. I got pick it up right where we left off in season 3. So it's an enjoyable show. It's funny. It's in the vein of Simpsons and Futurama, and so you'll recognize the artistic style, the comedy, the animation.
Yeah.
It's all connected. So again, it's a fun
It's a
watch.
fun watch. Yeah, it's 4 parts in, but there was one that came out, the Inside Job, which came out on Netflix, which I thought was better than this. If you're into that, that's the one I probably recommend over this one. But it's not bad. It's not bad. Again, if you're a huge fan of The Simpsons, this is it's not on par with that. Let's not kid ourselves, right? But it's fine. It's a decent show. So if you want that good animation, you can catch that. the other one, Chew, in HBO Max. The one was The Girl Before. This was actually a BBC show, debuted in December, and it came to us on HBO Max. It's only 4 episodes, limited series, so it was only four, so I figured, why not? I watched all four. Chewy, did you see this?
I did. I didn't realize it was just 4 episodes. So it was okay. I mean, I've seen better, to be honest with you, as far as crime dramas. This is probably better served being a movie than a 4-part series. But uh, yeah, whatever. It's only 4 episodes, so they didn't kill me.
Yeah, it's about I guess it follows the story of two women and two different timelines where they each rent a house from this minimalist, unique kind of house, and the architect designed it himself. His wife and kid were killed in the process of building the house. Very strenuous application process, where I guess very it's I guess he's very particular who he wants allowed to live in the property, and it follows. It's about 3 years apart, more or less, with the first girl
Hmm.
who ended up dying in the house, and the second girl realizes what's going on and starts investigating it, and kind of goes from there. It's fine. It's okay. I saw a four because I figured it was 4 miles to just see how it ends, and it was so obvious. I don't know if you saw the in and out, but
Yeah, I
it's
saw all
okay.
four.
It was so obvious it was him. It was the individual. Whatever. I don't want to spoil it, but whatever. Minor spoiler, but it was so obvious. I'm like, oh, okay, I knew it was. I was everything was a red herring. I just had a feeling. Whatever. It's fine. Not bad. I won't recommend
Yeah,
it.
I expect more.
Yeah, I expect more
Well,
BBC.
obviously, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
this is one I'm not recommending, to be honest with you. Not that it's bad. It's just too much other good shit going on. With shows like we're still watching obviously After Party and Apple Plus, which
Yeah,
is really it's a
great.
really good show. It's a really funny show. Tiffany Haddish, a good
That
murder
high school
mystery.
episode.
Yeah, yeah.
That high school
That was
episode.
yeah. It was yeah. They are yeah. Every episode, real quick, because it's just basically it's a murder mystery, and everybody who's been interviewed in this party who was involved, who at the scene of the crime, if you will, they each kind of telling what happened, their version, and they all have a version based off a style of a film, whether it be an action film or this week it was like a yeah, like a American Pie-ish, teen comedy kind of show.
80s,
We got a
yeah.
rom-com version of it. We got a musical. So every episode focuses on something different. Very unique. It's
The
very
next
fun.
the next episode is an animated episode, so
Oh,
it's interesting to see
golden.
how
That's
it's gonna
golden.
go.
Okay, so yes, it's a good. It's very creative. But shows like that, Pam and Tommy still going on, which I really recommend. It's a good show.
Mm.
Obviously, Snowpiercer that's still on. That's another good show to watch. And what's the other one Apple Plus, which I kind of enjoying.
Peace.
It's just
Oh,
Suspicion. Yeah,
Suspicion. Yeah, yeah.
which is a better thriller than than
It's
than
very good.
this, right, on HBO. So
Oh,
yeah, so there's other
absolutely.
stuff out there. Just one reason we're not recommending it. I'm not recommending. I don't think it's bad. It's just in lieu of other shows, I'm not doing it. This was like 3 weeks from now, nothing's coming out, sure, but at this point, I'm not doing it. But there's a lot of good stuff out there already ongoing. You guys can definitely go back and catch. The next one here, this is one I was kind of very curious about. That's Inventing Anna on Netflix. Of course, Julie Garner, we've seen, of course, in Ozark, who's killing it in Ozark. And I think I've seen 4 episodes so far, maybe 4 or 5. And she's killing it here. This is a really cool, interesting show. It's based on a true story. What was it, Anna Duvet, is that her name? It's a character.
No, Sorkin or
Yeah,
Sorkin.
well, her real name is Sorkin, but I guess the
Yeah.
character, she changed her name to Duvet or something like that. But
They'll be
the Velvy
yeah,
or
something
something
like
like
that.
that. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's based on true story. She's actually I think, just got out of prison recently. But yeah, she, was this mysterious girl from Russia, came onto the scene in New York and conned or defrauded, a lot of rich people and hotels and banks to, accumulate this wealth. And, she tried to get a business off the ground. She finally got caught. But it's fascinating how they tell the story. Actually, it's pretty cool. And like, wow, because she's highly intelligent, and it's not like, because even I was telling my girlfriend, oh, she said, what are you watching? I was like, show about this. Oh, so she's good looking and she seduces. No, that's not what she's doing. It's not like that at all. She's not, she's not finding marks either. She's just highly intelligent and knows how to maneuver in that world, right, of the rich and the world of art. And she just knows people and uses that influence to gain favors and, scam a lot of people and that. So it's fascinating. Chewy, you enjoying this one?
Yeah, I'm only 2 in, but it's very, very enjoyable, very good watch, very interesting watch.
Yeah, it's very fast paced. It's
Mhm.
told very well, it's energetic, and it also follows the I guess the reporter, right, who's trying to get her name
Mhm.
out there because she had a situation with a story that went awry early on, and now she's interviewing. She's trying to get the scoop on her and trying to get the exclusive and get herself back on the map in terms of journalism. So it's following her side as well. And just a good watch. This is one I really recommend. It's a really good show. It's a limited series. I think it's 9 episodes. if I'm not mistaken.
Uh,
I believe it's gonna be 9.
Not. I mean, I didn't check
Yeah, I
that out,
think it's
but
8 or
it's at
9.
least
Yeah,
eight.
but it's a limited series. Obviously, this is gonna come and end. But yeah, fascinating
Mm-hmm.
story, and Julie, she's great. She's doing a great job, and the show really gets more interesting as it goes on. To it, you'll see in the next few episodes and stuff that happens.
Good.
And
Good.
yeah, I was like, man, that's she got away. How she got away with it? It's crazy. It really is. And again,
Damn rich people.
and these are yeah, and even like when they go into the bank situation with the bank and how she's getting this $40 million loan that she needs, it's just some smart people. It's just for whatever reason, for her charms or just how she presents herself, it is what it is, and they get caught up in this whirlwind that's her. So good stuff. This is a really cool show. I'm liking this one. I really recommend. This is probably the best show of the week easily by far. Again on Netflix. So this was as far as say must watch, but definitely one I would put near the top of your list if you're caught up with all the other shows.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is. Did I miss anything too? I think that was it, right, for this week. That's all I had in here.
No, no, yeah, because it was fairly light as far because everything else has been ongoing,
Yeah, like I said, it's
ongoing
ongoing
shows,
shows.
weekly
Yeah,
shows.
like I
So,
said, those are shows. I know we're still recommending Pan and Tom. We're still recommending After Party and
mm-hmm.
Suspicion. Another
Suspicion.
one I'm enjoying as well. It's got that kind of like a thriller on Apple
Mm-hmm.
Plus as well. Apple Plus is kind of getting some good stuff on there. Particularly Severance hits. They're kind of on a roll potentially
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they have a
Yeah.
number of shows coming out
Yeah,
slated
yeah,
for the rest of the
they're going
spring.
all in
So,
this year apparently. So good for
mhm.
them. Hey, listen, we're all the better for it. That being said, that's all the shows for this week. So let's talk about what's coming out in 2 weeks, and we'll reconvene in 2 weeks. Like I said, we'll combine what we've seen over the last couple of weeks and talk about the stuff that needs to be talked about. Because we're not talking about all these shows. That's just too much. But that being said, yeah, so on the 23rd, I find this very interesting that you had sent me this to put on the show, and that is Free Guy. Of course,
Yeah.
a movie which I really, really enjoyed. It's obviously you haven't seen it yet, Chewy. Comes out on Disney
No,
Plus on the
no, I did not.
23rd. And yeah,
Finally.
this is such a good, fun movie. I saw it again with the stepdaughter. She loved it. It's really great, entertaining as hell. Especially even if you're not a gamer, it's such a good watch. Jodie Comer, who we'll talk about very shortly, stars in it as well. Yeah, and it's listen to believe that Chewy, is as always. I'm not surprised because this is a guy who doesn't pay for HD or commercial-free Hulu. God forbid he spend $3.99 on a rental on a very, very good, entertaining film. God forbid he has to wait
Exactly. Of
four
course, I
months
said three
for
ninety
it's
nine,
for
but whatever,
free.
dude.
Cheap ass Chewy clearly hadn't seen this film yet.
No,
God,
I did not.
Jesus.
I've been waiting for it. Look, why pay for something you eventually get it for
Three
free?
ninety
That's all I'm
nine
saying.
rental on Amazon, dude. It's not gonna break you here. God. I understand it was a lesser film, like whatever, but this is a good, legit, really good. You're really gonna enjoy this one, and your kids are too. If you, I assume you're watching with them. Um,
No, no, I'm definitely gonna watch it with
yeah,
them.
it's fun.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
super
it was a
fun.
fun
Yeah,
movie.
this one I really enjoyed. My favorite movies last year for sure. On FX Hulu, I guess on the 23rd, the same day as Free Guy. Snowfall, fifth season. A show I really don't watch, so I don't know exactly what Snowfall is. Why don't you let us know what that is exactly?
I mean, it's your drug and crime drama with the rise of the crack cocaine so epidemic in the 80s, right? So it revolves one particular individual, early 80s, and his rise and maybe fall as far as into the drug game from low level diva to major distributor to introducing crack on the West Coast and obviously spreading across the country. So again, it's been a very good show, very good drama for FX for a number of years. So this is season 5. So it's very good. And obviously it involves obviously how he got involved and how the CIA was involved in this whole operation. So obviously that kind of greased the wheels
Okay.
for his rise to power as well.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I've heard about it. It's never got caught up within. After a while, it's like, damn, the train passes
Yeah, you
on
missed
this
the
one. Yeah,
boat.
it is what it is. Especially with the fifth season, that's a lot to go back and watch.
Mhm.
Another one here, which I normally wouldn't watch, but it's the Latin Nerds Network. I gotta support my brethren here. So it's just a Brazilian show. My co-host is Brazilian on Nerds Planning here every Thursday, so I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot. It's a show called Back to 15, which not new premise here. It's like an older woman who finds a way to go back, and now she's 15 and she's reliving those years or that year anyway. And so it's just some kind of comedy against Brazilian subtitled, God forbid. This looks, yeah, I'll give it a shot. They didn't want me, but I'm like, whatever, I'll support. Support the
Yeah,
brethren. You know,
we got support. We got support our Latin
we got
fans,
some.
man.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna watch it. And, you know, maybe it's surprising. Maybe it's good. I don't know. It's got to be better than what's the other show? The Italian show Framed. That was a really bad show.
Oh, sure, it's better than that. I mean, there's been a number of Brazilian shows. The Mechanism, which is very good, which is a
No, no, you're right.
drama,
No, they have been. Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
dramatization of the Petrobras shenanigans, right,
Yeah.
with the government of Brazil. There was another one that was like I can't remember the name of it, but
Was it
he was an angel. Yeah, it was one
was it
where he's an
100 or something?
angel, and then he works for an agency for with God,
Yeah.
right? But it's all a scam, and so it was pretty
No, they
funny
do. You're
Brazilian
right,
show
and
as well. Very good.
they have good work every so often. So, like I said, I have hopes for it. Doesn't look as my bag, but I'll give it a shot. What the hell? So we'll talk. We'll see. We talk about that. If we don't talk about it, it's because it's not that good. Um,
Okay.
so or it's really really bad. One of the two. If it's really bad, we'll talk about it. And then we got on the 25th. Netflix, of course, Vikings, Valhalla returning.
Valhalla.
That's I forget how many seasons of Vikings there have been so far. Um,
Well, this is the new.
oh,
This is the
this is
first
the
one on
first one. Sorry, I'm
Netflix.
thinking. I'm thinking. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
but the original
Yes.
Vikings was ran for 6 seasons on History Channel, which
Right.
it was a great show for
Good show.
them.
Yeah.
And then I think they did the last season. They dropped it first on Amazon Prime, before they released that on History. So this is now a sequel
Okay.
to that series. So this jumps us about 200 years into the future, I guess. So this took
Okay.
place at the outset of the Viking reign
Okay.
and expansion. So this has some of the more famous Vikings in history. And so, yeah, this takes about in year 1060, 1070, in that time frame. So, like, if you love Vikings, you're going to love this,
Yeah,
right? You
it
know what
looks
you're going to
good.
get.
And like I said, Netflix on skill and production and the sword and sandal stuff they do really well, and a la like The Witcher to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one probably won't be talking about this show for probably 3 weeks because it drops on a Sunday. But we'll mention it anyway, and that's Killing Eve on AMC on the 27th.
Final
This is
season.
the final
This
season,
is the
right? A show
final.
we both been big fans of this show. Although yeah, third
Mm-hmm.
season was solid, it wasn't great. Hoping it ends. It's all about the ending, right? We're sticking the landing because we got Jodie Comer, who's great. We got Sandra Oh, who's great as well. Yeah,
Vinarella.
the chemistry is fire in this one. It's such a good show. It really is a good show, and I really hope it ends well. So your fans out there, get ready. Season 4, final of Killing Eve. I got a feeling this is going to be good. It needs to end well. I'll be disappointed if it doesn't, because it's been a really good show for the last 3 years
Mm-hmm.
on AMC.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's one we'll probably talk about that one in a few weeks. But that being said, Chewy, that will be all for this week. Yeah, so again, one high recommendation, but again, a lot of good stuff coming out. Have you got like 12, 13 shows and movies coming out in the next 2 weeks. So there's plenty to chew on. People say, I don't know what to watch. Nonsense. There's always something to watch.
There's plenty.
Uh,
There's plenty, and more to come this year. Some good stuff coming out soon.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we haven't seen eight shows in a week. I don't think we've seen that since we started doing this. I don't remember it being 8 shows and movies coming out in a week. That's a lot. It's heavy.
But yeah,
It's heavy. And
yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah,
some movies are
and
movies and
it's
all.
picking up
But yeah,
steam.
but it's some movies
Yeah.
are movies and that's fine. But yeah, so it's just a lot to chew on. There's a lot. You watch a Super Bowl, see the commercials on YouTube because it's better. It's probably better anyway. The trailers come out on YouTube before it gets get real. But that being said, lots to watch. And yeah, we'll start with Bel Air tonight, hopefully, and well, probably tomorrow, to be honest with you. But that being said, Chewy, as always, appreciate it. Everyone out there, subscribe, like, and hope you guys enjoying the show. Tell your friends they don't know what to watch. This is what we're here for. This is what we do. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Place your prop bets.
Rants by 10.